Finding some unique ideas that'll separate your wedding from the rest. Cambi, are you taking notes for that one special day?
No, I am not, because between the two of us, we are both very far away from this. I'm going to give you permission to tune out now, John. I know this is not up your alley. You have permission.
I'm already reading an article
else,
about Tiger Woods right now, so we're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep reading that article about Tiger Woods. But listen, everybody else that's watching right now, you know you want to do some do-it-yourself stuff for your wedding. But first of all, we want to tell you, don't do everything do-it-yourself, because nobody wants to go to that wedding. I hate to be the person to tell you, but people think they can do it all, right? And then at the very end, they're calling you scrambling.
Yes, it's true.
I can imagine. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't even want to try and think of what the stress for a wedding is like. So this little guy can go on your cake, and obviously you can do any colors that you want. So it would kind of sit right up here like this. Ta-da! Super cute. And easy to make,
Yeah,
right? Okay,
really
I love that. And you can do any colors, right? This is
Yeah.
what is it called? Baker's twine, is that right?
Baker's twine. It
Okay.
comes big bolts like this, and it's 240 yards for like $16. Really, real inexpensive, and you just wrap it around a fork.
Okay.
And in between the 2 or 4 prongs, you'll stick another piece and tie it off, and it actually ends up tightening up, and you cut the ends off, and it makes one of these pom-poms.
Okay, and then you just tie these on.
Yeah.
How do you decide how long you want to make it?
It just depends on how large the top layer of your cake is.
Now, do you put the bride and groom under here like they're about to get married under this, or how's that
you have
work?
little figurines. You can do that. You can also use. I used paper straws to tie it off, but you could also use dowels.
Okay.
That you can grab for 20 cents at Michael's and just put those up there. And it makes a really cute little touch that that everybody doesn't have.
I know you can't hear this, Therese, but they are playing White Wedding right now.
I love that song.
Do you?
I do.
That's a classic for wedding planners?
Billy Idol. It's for the other alternative weddings, of
Oh my
course.
gosh! And I don't know if you, I don't know if you heard that in the background. That was my photographer sneezing. Hopefully he's okay back there. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. We're live this morning at My Sorted Affair. We are showing you a ton of do-it-yourself things. But let me tell you one thing that I would like to say, and I want to make sure all brides know this. If you need to skimp on your wedding dress, that is fine, but make sure that you have some kind of alcohol at your wedding. Okay? I'm just saying. John, I know you hear me.
Yes, I do hear. You know what I always say, Cambi? It's actually the food. I think people waste too much time on the food. And I'm a huge food guy, but nobody remembers the food.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers the reception in the room and stuff.
That's what I was just telling Therese. I wouldn't even remember that if you have alcohol at the party. Come on.
Well, I'm not talking about that, but Cambi, good luck. To ayahs that are going to separate your wedding from the rest. Cambi, how's it going?
Yeah, you don't want your wedding to be boring, okay? So here's the thing. We all know flowers, big part of weddings, but what about these flowers? These are made out of paper. John, did you have to do anything for your sisters when they got married? Did you have to help out with any of this stuff?
You know, it was a long time ago. I was a teenager, so I doubt it.
So probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something that you can like recruit friends and family for. I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you want to come to my wedding? Guess what? You can help, people. You can help. So show us how to make these, because these are really cool. You can put these on top of your wedding cake. You could mix them in with the actual flowers that you have. Lots of things that you could do with these.
These are called kusudama origami flowers, and
Okay.
they're really easy. You can Google kusudama and you'll pull up these flowers. They're there all day long. We have a
Okay.
6-inch square of paper. You can do it as long as it's a square. You can do them in any size, so you can make huge ones if you want.
And you can also do these like with scrapbook paper. We're using white paper, and then this is actually spray painted, but you could do it with the scrapbook paper as well that has different designs.
Just make sure it's pretty thin paper, because origami paper is a little thin, so you can fold it. The heavier papers, the scrapbook papers, tend to be harder to fold and harder to put together.
Okay,
so
so
this
show us
is
how to do
this
this.
is actually 5 petals, and I'm going to show you how to make 1 petal. So you're
Okay.
going to fold it in the corners, one corner to the other, and then you're going to take those other longer corners and fold that into the middle. And I'll just do one side of it so you can see. You take that point and fold it back. And the instructions are online, because this is really quick.
And they'll also put it on their blog as well. If you
Yeah,
go to
we'll have it.
mysortedaffair.com, they'll put how you can do this.
We'll have it up today. And then so you're going to just bring that second folded corner back to the center, fold in the tip, And then at the end, you're going to bring them both around, and that's a petal.
Okay, and that'll make the one side, and then you just need to make 5 of those to get the whole thing. Again, if you want to check these out, mysortedaffair.com, they'll post the info on how you can make these. I've been practicing. Dun, 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 dun. How was I doing? Layla, you're the only one that's done that walk.
And you know what? Half the times you don't even remember that moment. It's all a blur. It's all a blur. All right, Cambi Brown, thanks so much. Some unique ideas that will separate your wedding from the rest. And Cambi, I gotta be honest, when you say wedding invitations, that I kept my cool pretty much throughout my wedding planning, but the invitations, I kind of lost it about that.
Why? What happened?
They just weren't right. They weren't what I wanted. Did I have enough? Did I not have enough? Who do you invite? I kind of lost it over the wedding invitations. Everything else okay, but the invitations. Yeah,
you know what though? Hey, weddings are drama. This is what I am learning from Therese this morning. Okay, you know you can't help it. There's such high expectations for how the day is going to be. But I saw you, Layla, on your wedding in the pictures, and you looked gorgeous. So I'm sure the day was a success for you. Check out these menus. I'm sort of obsessed with these. So I know we're talking about wedding invitations, how stressful those are, but look how gorgeous these are. I really like the idea of menus at the wedding, but these are like minor details when it comes to everything else that you have to do. So let's talk budget. It's a huge issue, and trying to stay organized with that budget. Yeah. What are some ideas that you have for brides to try and minimize the stress on their wedding day?
Well, I want them to be realistic. I mean, you can't go, into this thinking that whatever money you have is going to be sufficient.
Right, it's champagne taste on a beer budget,
you
right?
have to be realistic. So also prioritizing, there are 8 major components to a wedding. You have your photographer and your venue and your catering and all that stuff. Make sure you line out what's most important to you so that you know what the most amount of your budget will go to.
Because if you decide like, hey, let's put flowers really high up on the list, but let's put something maybe like the venue lower, then you can sort of look and try and see like, if I allocate this much, let me try and save a little bit there.
Exactly. And during the planning usually takes anywhere from 12 to 6 months, and sometimes shorter amounts of time or longer amounts of time. So you have time to kind of add a little more to your budget. The longer you take to plan your wedding, the better the experience you will have.
Okay, it's something picking out your colors like this. We have, I'm seriously loving this tablescape, by the way. We have this nice orange with the blue as well on the menu. Is that the part of one of the things you need to do first is sort of pick your color ideas, or where do you start?
Well, I love to start designing a wedding. I mean, that's the fun part, definitely, is picking all the colors and everything. Designing around a couple of colors, I think, is easier.
But what do you want to start with? Because you want to make sure you book your venue first, right? Because those you can't change on the date.
Definitely. You book the vendors that will not double book. Okay. So that is your catering, that is your photographer, and that is your venue. You can't have 2 weddings in the same space at one time. So those are of utmost priority. Your photographer as well. You don't want, you want this artist to make.
And you want that one, the one that you want. You want to call them early. All right, and coming up, we are going to have some more tips on some organization ideas for you as well. Something for the seating chart. Layla, were you the type of girl who dreamed from the very young age of what her wedding was going to be like?
Yeah, not really. Is that making me
I'm not
weird?
like that either. Were you,
I mean,
Therese?
I definitely wanted a nice wedding, but I didn't have that image that a lot of women have. But, I did have my must-haves. Like she said, the things that were important to me were must-haves. No kind of negotiating there. All right. Yeah. Cambi Brown, thanks so much.
Separate your wedding from the rest, Cambi.
Hey, good morning. Okay, so you need a seating chart at your wedding. Most people have a seating chart, right? Otherwise, people are just kind of milling around.
Yeah, if they have assigned seating, yeah.
Well, some people don't do assigned seating.
Yeah, sometimes they just say, sit where you want.
What do you prefer?
I like table seating, which is what we're going to show you right now.
Oh, perfect segue.
Cambi, can I make a request?
Oh, yes?
I don't want to sit next to John Dabkovich.
How dare you? You know what? Well, when I get married on the moon, I will make sure I remember that, okay? So that's probably what's going to be happening. Well, by the time I get married, you know what, John? We could probably have a double wedding on the moon by the time you and I get ready And not to each other, people. Let's not confuse you.
Yeah.
Not to each other. Okay, so let's check this out. So here we have the welcome, which I love. So adorable. And then you have these on the side.
Yeah, this is just a piece of chipboard. And so what we did is take a glass and make the circles so that they're actual perfect circles. You don't want to freehand that.
Because you're a perfectionist.
And then we have this square, which will be our dance floor. You could put the other elements like your sweetheart table or your head table if you want to put that in there. And all we did is just cut up some Post-its, tiny little Post-its. They're already sticky, so you don't have to tape them. And we just put them on the board at the tables. And you can put the number of the table inside of the circle.
And then you can write the people's names.
Exactly.
Just on there. Okay.
And I find this kind of chart a lot more helpful for you as a bride planning, because you can move people around, because Uncle Joe can't sit next to Aunt Sally because they fight, you know, so you can move the people around and play with it that way.
Yeah, I love that. You mentioned something else I want to talk about. Head table versus sweetheart table. Head tables are sort of 1990. Right?
They're a little old-fashioned.
You could say it. Here's why. Because when they have the sweetheart table, it's just you and your husband. And then your guests, the people who are in your bridal party, they can sit with whoever they want.
Yeah, I find that head tables tend to be a little empty, because people have their significant others sitting out into the wedding, and they want to, get out of the head table and sit with them. So your head table ends up absolutely empty.
Yeah. If you want some advice, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Right here. Therese already been a bride and has planned numerous weddings. Her information on the screen right now, My Sordid Affair. Also, we showed you earlier how to make these flowers. If you think these are absolutely gorgeous and you need them for your wedding, first of all, make sure you invite us to your wedding. Second of all, go on their website, mysordidaffair.com, and they will have information about how you can make these origami flowers as well. And also, we have to make sure that we thank the people who donated the linens for today. Who is that again?
Walker Lewis Rents. They donate the linens for all our segments. So
they donate a lot of stuff for a lot of wedding stuff, so kudos to them. All right, guys, I have wedding fever.
Okay.
Woo!
All right. Cambi Brown, all she needs is a ring. Thanks, Cambi.
Her boyfriend's coming back from Afghanistan.
I'm just saying, all she needs is a ring.
Don't put any pressure on the guy. Let him decompress a little bit.
We'll be back.
8:50 is